Welcome to the Hosel Rockets podcast, the #1 golf podcast for new product launches, interviews with industry experts, golf trends, and more.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ken Morton Jr., and you are listening to the Hosel Rockets podcast, where we talk all things golf. This is episode number 38, and we are on episode 3 of 3 consecutive podcasts about Callaway and Odyssey Golf. In podcast 36, we talked about Odyssey Golf with Sean Toulon and Luke Williams. Last week, we actually launched a podcast with Jason Finley, who's their global brand manager for golf balls, and learned about their wildly successful $50 million investment in their Chicopee golf ball plant and the new Chrome Soft golf balls. And this week, we get to talk about golf equipment with Dave Neville, the Senior Director and Brand of Product Management for Callaway Golf, and Evan Gibbs, who is the Director of Research and Development for Woods for Callaway Golf. Both long-term Callaway employees, been around a very long time, and have watched this massive growth with the company over the last couple decades, where they are one of the monsters worldwide in golf. And as we normally do for Hosel Rockets, we love talking about equipment and talking about all of the new products that are coming into the marketplace. For Callaway Golf, that is being done with a brand new line of golf clubs called the Rogue and the Rogue ST. And you might remember that name that was used a couple iterations ago, and they are back now with what they are calling their fastest, most stable drivers, longest fairway woods, longest irons, and fastest hybrids that they've ever made. And as you're going to hear in the interview, if you know Chip Brewer at all, and we are blessed to say that we have a little relationship with him, you know that as CEO of Callaway, he is all about R&D. He is all about product. He is all about making the best product, no matter what the cost and what the investment that he needs to be in both R&D and in people to make that happen. They have some wild AI technology that allows them to do millions of iterations of golf clubs that they and only they can do at this point in time, based on these computers that are millions and tens of millions of dollars investments. It's pretty wild when you think about it, where we are with golf, from people literally grinding wood on a wheel to all of the new technology that's in golf. All of these products are now available starting mid-February, and I know in early testing, we are seeing a dramatic improvement over the Epic Speed line that was out this past year. Lots of new innovations on this, including a new tungsten speed cartridge that moves up to 26 grams low and deep in the head. And we have talked lots about on previous podcasts about moment of inertia and high MOI. And the reality is if you move the ball or move the weight low and back in a club head, you can pretty much hit it anywhere on the face, and it's going to go the same distance and be much straighter when you hit it. The construction, shaping, and positioning of what's called their jailbreak speed frame, which is actually links the crown and the sole of the golf club together when you actually hit a golf ball, a wood. Actually, those two things separate from one another a little bit, and the crown and the sole actually move away from one another very slightly, and that's a loss of energy. So they actually create the jailbreak speed frame to actually connect those two things and put that energy back towards the face. And as we talked about in the artificial intelligence, they've really done everything they can to try to lower spin and increase forgiveness in this face optimization formula. They have been through millions of different faces and tested it on this AI technology to come up with what is on this existing club. In the Rogue drivers, they actually have 4 models. There's the Rogue ST Max, the Max D, which is a draw model, the LS, which is a lower spinning version, and then a new one that's called the Triple Diamond LS, and it's a little bit more compact and a lower spinning head for better players. In the fairway woods, they actually have a similar layout, but with 3 models. They have the Max, which is their longest fairway wood that they've ever made, a really high MOI and a neutral ball flight. They have the Max D, which again is a draw biased model. It's going to hit the ball a little bit higher with a little bit more spin for people that might be a little on the higher handicap schedule. And then the Max LS, which is their lowest spinning model, that it will be kind of a companion model to the LS driver or the triple diamond model. And it has more of a neutral ball flight and a little bit lower spin. In the hybrids, they have 4 different models. Again, that's a big change from Callaway in years past, where they're really trying to create one family of products that really target 4 distinct golfers. You've got the Max, which is going to be their main game improvement player. The Max OS, which is going to be a larger club head and a little bit more draw bias. It's going to go with those Max D fairway woods and drivers. They have the Max OS Lite, which is a new, easy to launch Rogue ST hybrid. So we're going to see a lot of that with seniors and ladies. It's made with ultralight components to actually generate more swing speed. And then they have the Pro, which is going to be for the better player. It's going to be going with that LS product, that triple diamond product, and is a kind of a neutral CG, and it's going to allow you to work the ball probably most. In the irons, it's a similar type thing where they have the Max OS, the Max OS Lite, and the Pro. Again, tons of product under this Rogue technology and this Rogue family to talk about. And we have 2 experts to give us all the details on it and really kind of give us a behind the scenes look on how it was developed and what we can learn from the new product, and a little snapshot on what's to come from Callaway Golf down the road. So, without further ado, please welcome Dave Neville and Evan Gibbs with Callaway Golf. Well, thanks for joining me on Hosel Rockets, you guys. This is a very exciting time for Callaway Golf. You guys are just a couple weeks removed from your new Rogue ST launch. For those golfers out there that have not had an ability to come in and see or try the new product, maybe you guys can start with the new metalwoods and kind of talk about what's new for the product line this spring.
Yeah, I mean, this is Dave Neville, and I'll set it up, and then maybe I can tag in Evan to talk about some of this new technology. But the whole idea around Rogue and ST is this idea of speed tuning and bringing a ton of new technologies, stuff that hasn't been seen before in the industry, patented first, across the entire line. So changes, big changes, small changes, all of that to try to speed tune this entire family. And you know, it all starts with the metal woods, like you said, Ken, and starting with driver. We're calling them our fastest, most stable drivers ever. And I guess, Evan, the one thing that the consumer is going to see right when they walk in is that tungsten speed cartridge in the back. So that's a big one. Why don't we start with that? You want to talk a little bit about that, Evan?
Yeah, sure. So, like Dave said, that tungsten speed cartridge is a key design element. It's meant to get the center of gravity low and deep in the head and create really high moments of inertia. So for the consumer, that means a lot more consistent spin and speed on off-center impacts, which is really a key part to these drivers and making them so stable and so consistent.
I think over the last couple years, that's really what we've seen is, you know, there was drivers that were really fast and drivers that were really forgiving and had very high moments of inertia. And recently, those two things have combined in effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And that's where you kind of get this idea of like fastest and most stable. And Evan, we're hearing that a lot on tour as well. They're saying faster, but they're also saying just very, very stable. That's what we're hearing from Rom and Xander and a bunch of the guys, right?
Yeah, I think that's one of the kind of universal feedbacks we've gotten both in internal testing, consumer testing, tour testing, really regardless of player type or head speed. We're seeing a lot more consistent launch conditions, and that's just resulting in a lot tighter dispersion downrange, and not just in the Max model, but really across all 4 models.
Yeah, and as we roll through the tech, Evan, let's talk about the face and this advanced AI face. I mean, a lot of talk in the industry about face technologies out there. We feel like we have the most advanced driver face in the entire world. So talk about a little bit what we've done with the AI and how it's different in this version.
Yeah, so the AI face design has been kind of a key technology for us for the last 2 years. It continues to evolve, and this, like Dave said, this is the most advanced face we've ever designed. We continue to update our optimization techniques to include more objectives and constraints so that we can really optimize these faces for each specific driver based on, the expected player type and what our objectives are. The face is extremely complex geometry. And the big difference on this face compared to years past is we're now using the face to help control launch and spin and not just speed. And again, that's a key part of why these drivers are so consistent. So the AI faces in the past were focused on making them faster, not just at center, but across the face, just really looking for more speed. These faces are also tuned to help control launch and spin. And so by doing that, combined with some of the, mass properties we have in the head in terms of center of gravity and moment inertia, those two together create that really unique combination of speed and consistency that we haven't seen before. And so the face is a big part of that.
Yeah, and then I guess the other piece that really is something that nobody else has is this jailbreak technology. So this has definitely evolved as well. So Evan, can you just talk a little bit about the benefits of the jailbreak speed frame, how that's different than the previous jailbreak iterations that we've had?
Sure. So, jailbreak is a technology that we have patented. No one else can do it, and it really helps separate us from our competitors because it decouples CT and COR, allows us to push the face to higher COR values and still be conforming. And so that really helps give us a ball speed advantage. The speed frame is a lot stiffer than other jailbreak systems. It helps control the deflection of the crown and sole at impact and helps maximize the flexibility of the face during impact. So it's really the AI face and how it works together with jailbreak that helps us get the ball speeds you're seeing.
Yeah, so by far the most advanced driver we've ever had, and the results can have just been incredible. What we're seeing in the fitting bays from the fitters, from our reps, and also on tour as well.
One of the things I'm so appreciative of is, with Chip Brewer as your guys' CEO, he is someone who invests everything that you guys have into R&D, into making sure that there's nothing going to be more technologically more advanced out in the marketplace than you guys. That AI technology, I know, couldn't have been done 5 years ago because you guys didn't have computer systems, strong enough to be able to do those calculations. Would you guys mind maybe just kind of touching upon the investment that had to go in to do the new AI face that you guys have on the new woods?
Yeah, Evan, you want to take that one?
Sure. Like you said, Chip is, he's a product guy, and new products and technology is, the number one priority for him, and he has continued to invest in R&D since he's been here. And that supercomputer is a big part of that. That was a massive investment, not just in capital, but in kind of in R&D. And we've hired unique people to R&D that have backgrounds in computer science and coding, so outside kind of the golf industry. And it's really changed the way that we design golf clubs, and we're really just scratching the surface. The potential that we see is pretty exciting. And the AI face is really the first application of this. And like I said, it's been a huge investment, in capital, but also in people. And it's become a really key part of the R&D strategy.
That supercomputer, it can do, and if I remember correctly, it can you guys went through like 1 million different iterations of faces that can test,
we're
right?
We're constantly adding on to it too to increase our computing power and capability. But that's just it. I mean, what it allows us to do is let the computer go through literally millions of possibilities and to learn about how all of these variables interact in a way that the human just can't do. It sees these complex relationships between impact locations and how the face flexes and how the crown and sole interact with the face, and how a change on the low heel can have an impact on the high toe. And it's just amazing the complexity that's built into it, and really allows us to create a face design that no one else in the industry can.
It's really amazing technology. Thinking back, even 20 years ago, how golf clubs were made. Having to build a golf club, then go test it, and then make a tweak, and then go build a golf club, and then go test it. You guys can do 1 million evolutions of that in a single day. It's really remarkable.
Yeah, and we still do a lot of building and testing. That at the end of the day, these clubs have to be put in the hands of real golfers, and the experience that the golfer has is a huge part and a huge validation of all the computer analysis that we do. So that is still a big part of it. But yeah, being able to go through all these iterations before we even have a hittable product gives us a huge advantage, and it lets us, do things in months that really would have taken years in the past.
I know some of this technology is carrying over to the irons, and I know in our initial testing, they're rockets. Maybe dive into that new product line for us as well.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about the irons, and like you said, we're bringing AI to the face of the irons as well, but and an all new high strength 450 AI face cup. So in the past, we've used a 17.4 face. So now using that high strength, it's lighter, it's more flexible. It allows us to be more aggressive with the AI, but it also, by being lighter weight, allows us to have a lot more tungsten than what we saw with Maverick. So going from 17 grams of tungsten to 62 grams of tungsten, 250% increase. So what does that do? Well, it helps you with launch, but it also helps you with ball speed because it helps you with CG position as well. So like you're saying, Ken, these are our longest irons ever, the Max model. It does have strong loss, and people always ask, you just jack the loss. It really isn't like that. The loss are strong, but when you have 60 grams of tungsten, the ball is still going to launch in the air. And what's interesting about these irons with the Max versus the previous with the Maverick irons is the lofts are actually about a degree weaker. So it's kind of the anti-loft jacking, but they're still longer, and that really comes back to that 450 AI face. And then, of course, we have the urethane microspheres, which no one else has. It's a patented material that allows that face to flex and still gives you amazing sound and feel. So it's the full package. We've got 4 models there that we're really, really excited about.
I think that's another big expansion, this versus maybe a couple model evolutions ago, is that you guys, within the model, you have multiple models that have, that can appeal to the guys playing the tour or a 30 handicapper that's maybe new to the game. How do all of those things kind of tie in together from a technology standpoint?
Yeah, so we want to make irons that, like you said, they work for everybody. That goes back to Mr. Callaway, and he didn't want to just make clubs for tour players. He wanted to make it for all handicap levels to really help people enjoy the game. So the Max iron that we're talking about, that is our longest iron. That's a true distance type of iron. But we have a Max OS, which the lofts are a little bit more generous there. It's going to launch higher. It has a bigger footprint. It's going to be easier to hit. And within the Max OS, we have a Max OS Lite, really for seniors and women with less tungsten, lighter swing weight, lighter shaft and grip package there as well, and more generous lofts also. So we're going to really have a focus on launch. But you still have the 450 AI. You still have the urethane microspheres. You still have the precision tungsten weighting. And then we have this Pro model. It's really for kind of low single-digit type of handicappers. Looks like a blade. It looks absolutely amazing, but it has all of that technology packed into it. You're talking about 50 grams of tungsten in an iron that looks like a blade, and that's really going to be for your better players out there.
How has the reception been on tour for this whole product line?
I think it's been absolutely incredible, and Evan can talk about the driver, but the conversion rate of being so quick. Usually, guys get dialed into a driver or 3-wood that they like, and then it's just hard to get them to change. But immediately in Sony with John Rahm putting it in play, you saw how he played there with Xander. Even guys like Kevin Kisner, who hasn't changed drivers in 6 years, for him to go all in. Kevin Na, Sam Burns. It's been absolutely incredible on tour. Evan, what would you say in terms of the models, like between the Triple Diamond and the Max LS? What are we seeing out there?
Yeah, early on, I would say that Triple Diamond LS is our kind of lead model across all tours. It's the model that John Rahm's using, Xander's using, kind of a version of that. And that model's been a home run for us on tour. The Max LS also has a lot of use, but I would say the Triple Diamond is the most used.
Interesting. All right, and the last question I have, without getting both of you in tons of trouble with Chip, what's next for Callaway down the road?
Yeah, why don't you take that one, Evan?
Yeah. I'll just say, as excited I am about Rogue, obviously in R&D, we're already on to the next one, and what we have coming next year is going to be pretty amazing. I think, obviously the AI technology continues to be a big focus of ours, focusing on multi-materials as well, trying to use materials to their advantage. Yeah, can't say too much, but I think we're all excited about what's to come.
Yeah, I think that's across the whole lineup. Obviously Evan heads up our metal woods, and speaking for Scott Manwaring and the irons and hybrids team, they're super excited about some of the technologies and construction methods we got coming down the road. But we just encourage everyone to go out and get fit, and try them out, and if you're going to invest the money in it, get fit, try it out, and see kind of which models are right for you.
Well, I appreciate your guys' time. For those people out there listening that have made it this far, you guys can go to see all of these products on Callaway's website or on mortongolfsales.com, or schedule your own fitting at hagenoaks.com or by calling 916-808-2531. Thank you guys very much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no
Thanks,
problem.
Dan.
Thanks for having us.